Playbook with Paul LaPolice, your home for elite CFL breakdown and analysis. We're going to continue with our season previews. Today, we're going to talk about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, a very talented football team that kept a lot of players. We're able to retain a lot of their great free agents. Let's open the playbook on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. When you get the opportunity, please subscribe to the channel. It's going to give you notifications as we post new things. And today's the Bomber Breakdown. Leave a comment on what you think the Bombers need to do to get back to the Cup. Okay, last year's record, 14-4. If you break it up into thirds, they go 4-2 with a difficult overtime loss to Ottawa. 5-1 on their next 6 games, and then again 5-1 on their last 6 games. So pretty consistent football team. They get first place in the West, home playoff game, make it to the Grey Cup. Probably the most talented team in the league, but the most talented team doesn't always win. That's the beauty of pro sports. They didn't perform their best when their best was needed. And Montreal played them in the Grey Cup, and that's a difficult pill for them to swallow. And I'm sure they're going to be working towards retribution and continuing to go. But that's my first point in coaching, is you got to put the past behind you. Because there could be a sense of entitlement that goes into this Bomber organization. Hey, we've been there 4 times. We're in first place. We're always in first place. We're the best team in the league. They've got to go back to a week-to-week process and just worry about winning a football game and worry about the practice they're at, because you cannot allow any type of, hey, we were there before. We're fine. We're going to be okay. Because you got a lot of teams chasing you. You got a lot of teams. The BC Lions, they got a Grey Cup in Vancouver. They were close on their heels last year. They're going to do their best to not play in Winnipeg in November, trying to get the home playoff game. So I think Mike O'Shea does an outstanding job of making sure players are focused on a week-to-week process. They have to buy into what O'Shea's talking about, and I think he does an amazing job of that from a coaching standpoint. Making sure, guys, no entitlement. Let's not worry about the past. We're focus on this week and this week's games alone. Statistics. So there's an interesting thing I have written here of all their categories. It's amazing. So in the same CFL categories, offensively and defensively, they lead the CFL in 6. What that means is net offense, opponent offense, both first in the CFL. First downs, opponent first downs, both first in the CFL. Passing yards, opponent passing yards, second down conversion, passing TDs, and most importantly, offensive points scored, first in the Canadian Football League. Defensive points allowed, first in the CFL. So you can see why they're a talented team. Rushing yards first, 30-plus completions, big plays, 20 penalties, least penalized team in the CFL. Defensively, all kinds of stats here. This is a team that has executed at a very high level. But I want to talk about one area of expertise of this football team, and it's something that goes back to my time working there. In 2017, 18, 19, we were leading the Canadian Football League in 20-plus pass efficiency. And what does that really mean? That basically means when you are throwing the football downfield, 20-plus passes, the efficiency is rated on probably 2 things. Your completion percentage, yes, but it's going to be a lower percentage when it's 20-plus passes. But most importantly, how many touchdowns to how many interceptions you throw. Now, Winnipeg, this is an amazing stat. Tops in the league. 55 completions last year, 113 attempts, almost 50% completion, almost 2,000 yards. But here's the stat, 21 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions for an efficiency of 165. That's what you don't want to just throw the football downfield. You want to score touchdowns when you do, and you don't want to turn it over when you're just throwing it up. Other teams in the CFL, not even close in completion percentage, not even close in touchdowns, and not even close to protecting the ball as much as Winnipeg did, and that's why their efficiency rating is only 90. And the worst team in the Canadian Football League last year, 17 of 60, 28%, 500 yards, 3 TDs, 9 interceptions, 19% efficiency. So the key to the game, and when you throw the football, isn't just getting a ton of yards, it's when you score on those yards. So that's an amazing stats. And one area of improvement for this football team is their 'They're 'last in the Canadian Football League in interceptions, and they just lost to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So that's an amazing stat. And one area of improvement for this football team is their last in the Canadian Football League in interceptions, and they just lost to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So that's an amazing stat. And one area of improvement for this football team is their last in the Canadian Football League in interceptions, and they just lost Mario Houston, who went to Calgary and he led the CFL in interceptions. So can they start taking the ball away a little bit more for a football team? That's, I think, a stat that surprised me when I looked at these guys. From a roster standpoint, you kept Dalton Schoen, you kept Brady Oliveira. When that happens and you already have a lot of high players on the roster, you're going to have to lose some talented players. And you saw that with Jamarcus Hardrick. And I already talked about Houston going to Calgary. So do they have some young players at a good price point, a rookie contract that can come in and perform? They don't have to perform as high a level as those former players, but they just got to be adequate in their positions and not have a huge drop off at those two spots, tackle and boundary corner. And the other thing I think from a roster standpoint is they've been very safe with Zach Collaros last couple of years. He hasn't missed a lot of games. Can that continue? From a scheduling standpoint, week 3, BC Lions come to Winnipeg. That'll be a huge game. Last time BC Lions went over there last year, they took it to the Bombers pretty good early in the season. But then August 1st, the BC Lions, bye week, the following week, the BC Lions again. So August is going to be real important to start getting people to figure out who's jockeying for that first place spot. This is a great football team, the Bombers. I expect them to be right in the mix for first place once again.